G'day friends and fans, welcome to Dave Talk Stuff, Ukraine War Update for the 21st of June 2026. While the war continues, I continue to bring you news from the battlefield from both sides and my own comprehensive analysis of the battlefield. As we look predominantly at the battlefield, it is a mess. We have power outages from Ukrainian sabotage and drone strikes. We have Russia's retaliation in Potlovka and, Dnipro, Zaporizhia, Odessa, and Kryvskoye, and Kiev, and Sumy. We have the usual keep the Ukrainians busy on the northern front and at Kupiansk and the northern front. We have very little progress here at Lyman, but there's a lot of activity. But the town of Durisviev is completely now under Russian control. Prainov is still mostly under Ukrainian control, but the Russians are coming around the river now. And they are probably going to start working down the river. But they're predominantly here to keep this rail line to Lyman cut. They are slowly, they've absorbed all of Yempel, and they are working to take this area, but in incremental cuts. They're just basically cutting through the forest and advancing, trying to come up on Lyman as well as Monovskia, because the more they put Savovsk under pressure, the more the Ukrainians, they're going to pour men into here and here as well, and here. But they will eventually realize that, But for now, they seem to think they have something up their sleeve. But as the increased escalation continues, Russia continues to advance slowly, but continues to advance. They're slowly crushing the Ukrainian forces here at Krasnokovia. The majority of casualties in today were in Krasnokovia and the surrounding areas. Now here the Russians are continuing to try and push through the north to break this bridge between the two, to reduce the supply lines to the and draw Ukrainians off other fronts. Now, so far, this is held after repeated attacks and months of attacks. So again, the Russians seek to cut off the supplies and they are pushing heavy here to move north. They do not seem to be pushing here, but rather keeping the Ukrainians occupied. They do not seem to be pushing here, but keeping the Ukrainians occupied. Here they're pushing hard and only making small gains. Now, before I continue, Empire Valves, that's one word, empirevalves.myshopify.com, your one-stop shop for enchanting treasures based on my writing, the Empire Valves. Available on Amazon. All right. So the Russians have introduced 2 days ago the Madanaya Lightning, a lightweight drone. It does take 2 men to carry. There's a 13-kilogram warhead in it, encased. As you can see, it's a little nose heavy, but they use a compressed air launcher to slingshot it up into action. Now here, as you can see, Man, that is, yeah, one strike. You can see the secondaries and tertiary explosions in the set in that, and I'll show you. See, like this one. This is how quick it is. One strike, but it's hit the target, and the target has exploded multiples. Here's another one that exploded multiples. As you can see, it's compressed air, just ram forward. Don't let its size fool you. It is, yeah, there's the Lightning 2. Lightning with the, got 2. But this has got more in, the Lightning 2 is bigger, 2 engines. And, yeah, here's the assembly point. We're basically shipped to the front in packages like this. Yeah. Hi, we just FedEx you with 2.5 kilograms of C4 and some wings. Actually, it can carry a lot more than that, and usually does. But that's its battery pack, not C4. I'm just kidding. They assemble the drone, made to be assembled by the average Joe Blow, and there you go. Away she goes. Now, fixed wing kamikaze drone used by Russians. This is from, yeah. New aerodynamics, range of up to 50 kilometers, combat payload 10 kilograms. No, it's actually 12.5. Its speed is actually 60, not 50. And its range does depend on its battery charge and launch and wind. It is, however, a, let's see, very easy put together. Like, it's pretty much field rigged sometimes to carry more. Yeah, like I said. But I think its standard pack is just 2 packs of high explosive. I think these are rigged, field rigged to carry a third. As you can see, look at, or an impact detonator. There, as you can see, something actually shot at it. All right, hold on. All right. These are not like your standard, what's the previous? Lancet. These are bigger than the Lancet. They're heavier than the Lancet, fly further and faster than the Lancet, but they're not as inflexible as the Lancet. They are. And as you can see, the Russians are, yeah. Yeah. But they are adapting, and they're hunting the Ukrainians in their positions. The majority of casualties on the Ukrainian side, this is Ukrainian occupied territory as far as the Russians are concerned. So you see where it's been shelled, and now they're just systematically destroying the Ukrainian positions. So they don't care that the Ukrainians can hunker down in their. They just get around to building the drone, firing it off, and the next day they get another drone, fire it off, day after day, and the Ukrainians just sit there waiting for it to happen. They're not. Yeah, there is ground fire. You can see ground fire. I would say this is Koshnikovia, just based on that street pattern here. Come down. Where's Koshnikovia? Here's Koshnikovia. See? Now it's not loading. Yeah, see? There's the water somewhere in there. See? Look how much empty space. Those are houses. Not many. This was once a town of 78,000. Yeah, handful. Look at how many empty lots there are. The Russians are systematically destroying, yeah, ahead of them. And the Ukrainians, they're just waiting around to be slaughtered. There's no fighting a drone war on that scale. Couple of drones a day, and couple of drones a day, and the Russian army is holding the Ukrainians back. They can't advance. They can't. There's no distance to close. It's not like artillery where you close the distance and the artillery is useless. The drones just keep coming, and they're not going to stop coming. And the Ukrainians don't have an answer to it. Their front line do not have adequate air defense, not adequate electronic warfare either. Otherwise, these drones would not be cruising into Krasnokovia and only met with ground fire. Someone should have air launched. Someone should have shoulder launched. The Europeans are really inadequately supplying Ukraine. Ukraine should know these tactics. Ukraine should have shoulder launched. They've had shoulder launch technology. They handed the Europeans 7,800 SA-6s. What happened to those? Those are the little shoulder launch, Russian shoulder launched. What happened to them all? Europe should be mass producing RPGs and shoulder launch by now. Poland should be. Poland can do it. Poland actually has the factories still. So don't come at me and tell me I'm giving you Russian information when Ukraine ain't bloody worth defending. There's nothing to defend. Their actions are indefensible. Their independence is so far up their hiney. If they're so independent, why do they want to join the EU? It's just a justification for war, ladies and gentlemen. And the Russian Rostec, although it is a subsidiary of Rostec and in partnership with other companies, but yeah, the Moliere drone is assembled, the casing and explosives. Now this is in conjunction with Belarus and was put on display in Belarus. Yeah, this was actually a joint Russian-Belarus production. The new featured 4 electric motors, new speeds. The Lightning 13 has a range of up to 50, but it's much faster, has a higher payload. It joins a family, the Lightning P, Lightning 2. The Lightning 2 is the one we saw before. It's the shorter range one, but it's slightly faster than given. But let's say it's got a range. Yeah, this one is faster and long range. I think the Lightning 2 is like 20 to 30 kilometers and flight speed around 50 to 60, depending on the wind. Lightning P, I think, is a really small one. It's just basically like an interceptor, but yeah. Now, as we've seen, yeah, there at glance, yeah, UAV, yeah, it's foam, plywood, plastic, as we've seen, cardboard. It's down to what, $1,600 a unit, under $2,000. It's cheaper than an RPG. and interceptor drones. Yeah. By the way, I think this one, yeah, it's Ukrainian site. And now for the Polish news. The Polish are pissed at Ukraine, and Ukraine is saying, "Oh, it's just the past, man. Get over it, man." Yeah, well, Poland, most Poles believe Zelensky has a negative attitude towards Poland, doesn't, and yeah. Now they're trying to rewrite history that the Ukrainian insurgent army did not fight with the Nazis. They did. They made a bargain with the Nazis to fight the Russians, and they got crushed by the Russians, and the Nazis let them get crushed by the Russians. Again, here they are ground firing. Oh, yes. Sniper scope. Idiot. I am an idiot. I sniper scope an M3. Yeah, fucking idiots, man. As you go to school. Yeah. Back of the bus. That's where. Yeah. You ain't shooting shit with that. Okay? Anybody knows anything about skeet shooting? Ever seen skeet shooting? Yeah. They're hitting targets. Even this ground fire. You don't point at the target. You point over and ahead. And and you move as it tracks, you track, and you fire above and over. Technically these guys should be. Never mind. It's a photo op. That's what it is. Now, why can't Slovakia? Why can't we all be like Slovakia? You treat me nice, I'm not going to make war with you. What a wonderful concept! What a wonderful... Wow! Now, in other news, Scotland has called out Kiev's attacks on Zaporozhye civilian targets as indisputable. No one's going to listen to you, Scott. America, Europe, the establishment in both countries, on both political parties, are never, ever going to bring war trials against Zelensky or any Ukrainian for attacking civilians. Now, the drone war is a distraction. Yeah, you might get a fire here, an explosion here. Even with Russia, okay, the predominant damage Russia does only slows down the Ukrainian. It stops the Ukrainians from having comfort, but it doesn't stop the supply of materials. Russia cannot literally do over 1,000 drones a day. They are nowhere near the production required on a scale to bomb Ukraine like the British. Remember, Britain didn't have the capacity to bomb Germany in World War II. They did it. Yeah, when they say British American, yeah. The drone war is a distraction, but here we go. This is where the Russians say they are at Lyman. They are around here. This is the outskirts of Lyman City itself. Right? There's the river. There's the crucial bridge at supplying Lyman, because the Russians here cut the tracks to the south. Now, in the last few days, the Russians have taken 1, 2, pushing out. There's the Donsk, which critical waterway for supply. In Koshtakovia, in recent attacks, yes, the Russians have encircled the Ukrainians, but It's a large area with could hold out theoretically for months. Now, this is 2022. They retreated, right? Gave up, swapped land for a peace deal, which, and now they're squeezing Koshnikovia. They could just basically fend off any counterattack by the Ukrainians so far, while they systematically destroy the Ukrainian positions in Koshnikovia. The Ukrainians, yeah, there's three directions now. Lyman, Alexandrov, carrying out a complex operation in order to relieve Koshnikovia by putting pressure all the way up here on Savansk and Kremosk. Now, Katamosk, they cannot afford to lose these two towns. They lose these two towns. They lose major military operations for the entire area. Because once they come under attack, they're no longer able to conduct any offensive operations. But right now, they haven't been able to reach that point because basically, whenever they get enough manpower together, the Russians put a couple of 100 liters of fuel into a rocket, fire the rocket at them, and incinerate their position. You get more than 500 Ukrainians in a room, and the Russians will set fire to that room. I'm telling you right now. Okay? Zero fucks to give. There's my F-bomb. All right, so ordinary Europeans, according to most polls, and YouGov poll and all the others, have now between +1, +3 on the support to end three things. End Russian sanctions, end the Ukraine support, and they got their first bill through already, and European migration. The European migration policy is now ended. Actually, I don't think it was called the European immigration policy. I think it was called the European Refugee Settlement Program at first, but they called it the European migration policy. Migration policy, even though it's not migration of Europeans, it's migration into Europe. They've ended that one. Now they're going for the Ukraine funding. They want to cut off, but yeah, they have only mild support so far. I would say it is very paper thin support. Now, we rarely get footage allowed, but rarely has a Su-34 gone so far into Ukraine Where's the air defense? Where's the drone? We are over Kharkiv. Okay, the drone is moving with the wind. Yeah, it has only recorded the hits, but by the looks of it, three missiles from a Su-34 managed to hit the factory now. Just the way it was orientated and looking. All right, let's go to Kharkiv. Here we are, Kharkiv. All right, I would put it somewhere up here, the way the drone was looking. And I would say, if I was coming in like this, launch, and come out. So remember, what's it? It's a kilometer for every 50 kilometers. It's like it's huge turning. Like You're not slowing down. Right? Their peel off is like a kilometre, a couple of kilometres. So they're coming in between 600 and 700 kilometres an hour. They're firing on laser guided 122s, and they're peeling off, letting the missiles. So they're coming in low, up, fire, peel off, and they're just basically side drifting north, as letting the momentum carry them probably to Belgrade, when they right themselves and fly off at normal. So they're just doing a big. But still, you think. But no, the air defences were all back here expecting Zelensky. Russia's going to attack us with a big attack today, said Zelensky, and it's in the Kiev Independent. He also said this yesterday. Big attack coming today. So my guess is the Russians rolled out a few pieces of equipment, started preparations. Zelensky went, oh, time to change my depends. And they put out stories, big attack coming, big attack coming. They got hit with a few missiles, but nothing significant. But because all the air defences were around Kiev to protect Zelensky so he can sleep at night, and Kharkiv gets hit. So targets of opportunity, right? And Zelensky threatening Belarus has all but blown over by now. I don't think even the dumbest of Ukrainian generals, currently sitting in London as a diplomat for some reason, yeah. And he'll be. There won't be long. We're going to see more changes. Like, we're getting to that point. We're 6 months into a new commander and nothing has changed. Zelensky will shake things up to stop the loss. We're going to get 50,000 orcs a month. Yeah, Ukraine ain't getting what it wants, bro. No one's getting what they want. Don't go betting on Russia either. Although, yeah. So, thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Please support the channel. You support me on Ko-Fi, Patreon, buy my books, buy my merch. I appreciate each and every one of you. See you in the next video. Bye for now.